Okay, so if you're in talent acquisition or recruitment marketing, you are hearing about AI constantly. But let's ask the real question. When a candidate asks an AI about your company culture, where is it actually getting its answers from? The truth is probably not what you think. Let's break it all down.
So yeah, it's time to cut through all that noise. Because, all the generic advice about AI that works for e-commerce or for product reviews, it's a completely different ballgame for recruitment. And honestly, that's a critical distinction for your employer brand.
All right, let's dive right in and start with what you think you know about AI and recruitment. We're about to debunk some of the biggest myths out there, and we're not using opinions. We're using hard data.
And this is really where the confusion kicks in, right? We just assume AI answers every question the same way. I mean, for a new laptop, sure, it might go scan a bunch of forms. But when a job candidate asks about your company, it is playing by a completely different set of rules.
So on one side, you've got e-commerce, where AI just dives headfirst into the wild west of forums like Reddit. But on the other side, for recruitment questions, the AI algorithm totally shifts its focus. It starts prioritizing professional sources. We're talking employer review sites, and believe it or not, your company's own career pages.
This is probably the biggest myth we need to bust, for sure. The idea that AI is out there building this grand picture of your employer brand from a bunch of anonymous Reddit threads, it's everywhere. But the data? It tells a completely different story.
And here it is, less than 1%. In a massive analysis of employer brand questions, Reddit was cited less than 1% of the time. Just let that sink in for a second. The platform that everybody is so worried about is, for our purposes, pretty much a non-factor.
Okay, so if Reddit is out of the picture, then AI must just be scraping every single review from Glassdoor, Indeed, and LinkedIn, right? Wrong. And this brings us to our second huge myth, something we're calling the Great Wall of Glassdoor.
The reality is, the big three of employer branding, they've built a digital fortress. They use technical tools to actively block AI from scraping all their detailed review data. They've basically put up a giant virtual do not enter sign. This means the AI literally can't access the thousands of reviews you assume it's reading.
So how does a platform like ChatGPT still manage to cite Glassdoor at all? Well, it uses this clever little workaround. It doesn't actually go inside the site. Instead, it just reads the short preview text, the snippet that pops up in a search engine result. It's getting the headline, something like 72% recommend, but it's completely missing the context from the thousands of reviews behind that number.
So, we've busted the myths. Reddit is a non-factor. The big review sites have their gates closed. This begs the million-dollar question. Where is AI actually getting its information from? You're about to find out, and it's probably not what you expect.
Here it is. This is the most important finding of all. The #1 source cited by every single major AI platform, we're talking ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini, is your own website. Your careers page, your corporate site. You are the primary source of truth, and that means you have way more control over the AI narrative than you realize.
Now, let's get a little more specific. Take a look at Gemini. It has a pretty unique preference. While your website is still #1, it really likes to pull from YouTube as a source. The takeaway here is simple. If you want to influence Gemini, you need to have employer brand content on YouTube.
Now let's switch over to Copilot. And, as you might guess from a Microsoft product, it has a deep integration with LinkedIn. It cites LinkedIn about 9% of the time. So what does that mean? It means your company's presence on LinkedIn directly shapes the answers that Copilot gives to candidates.
So, here's the crucial point. With the big review sites blocking access and AI looking desperately for clear information, this content gap gets created. The AI has questions about things like pay and working conditions, but its primary sources are blocked. So, what does it do? What does it turn to next to fill in those blanks?
It turns to whoever is providing the clearest, most public answers. And right now, more often than not, that's worker union sites and HR policy websites. They are literally shaping the AI narrative on topics like pay simply because they are explaining it more clearly and more openly than many employers are on their own sites.
This is where we shift from just analyzing the problem to actually taking action. Knowing all of this, how do you move from being a passive subject of AI to actively shaping your own narrative? How do you take back control?
First things first, we need to understand a really key difference, a mention versus a citation. A mention is just when your company name appears in an answer, but a citation,
That's when the AI uses your website as the proof and links directly to it. See, if AI mentions you but cites a news article about you, the article owns the narrative, not you.
And this, right here, is the core strategy. Don't just aim to be part of the conversation. You have to aim to be the source of truth. When your own website becomes the citable authority, you are the one who controls the story, period.
So how do you do it? Simple. You fill the content gap yourself. Be transparent. Publish clear, easy-to-find explanations of how pay and raises are decided. Replace those vague slogans like competitive pay with actual numbers, even if they're just ranges. And hey, if you have unions, acknowledge them openly. Silence on these topics just looks evasive to an AI that is only looking for clear facts.
So, you've got the knowledge, you've got the strategy, but what is the single most practical first step you can take, like right now, to start taking control?
You need to find your specific content gaps. And the best way to do that is to run what we call an AI brand health audit. Ask the AIs about your company, see what they say, but more importantly, look at the sources they are citing. That will give you a precise roadmap for exactly what content you need to create on your own sites.
And we'll just end with this thought. The AI narrative about your employer brand is being written right now, with or without you. You have so much more power than you realize to shape it. The only real question left is, will you use it?